Math friends, this is an attempt to do a screencast about making a jigsaw puzzle on Illustrator. We're trying to improve or learn from today's challenges. Again, I'm going to pick the rectangle tool and make a rectangle because laser cutter needs to see all of the lines. So that's a vector. It's a vector that the laser cutter is going to read and cut in the wood. Now, I am going to just strictly use what's called the curvature tool and not worry about straight lines, not worry about the pen tool. And if you hold, and also because the curve tool is something slightly different than the rectangle forming tool, I was correct that you can't start from the rectangle itself, but we'll fix that problem later. I am going to start just inside the rectangle, and I'm also going to hold down the shift key while I drag some, click in some points, because the shift key helps the curvature tool make straight lines. So I'm just gonna, I'm still on the rectangle tool. See, a lot of the problems, Command Z, undo, a lot of problems happen because you're on the wrong tool. So I'm gonna hold shift, click some points. Look at it, makes a straight line if I want. Click, make some points, make some points, make some points, make some points. Now, I'm going to hit escape, places it down. So that's a line. And now I can go back, and anywhere I see one of these points that I formed, I can pull it down, and I have curves. And I believe I can move them over a little bit. And now, if you think about a jigsaw puzzle, the interlocking components are often kind of close together. So I still got that loopy thing. I hit escape so I don't have that loopy thing, and let me see if now I can start another line. One option I have is I can copy the line. I can select with the white arrow. I'm going to select the line. You could do Command C and copy it, Command V, paste, and then that's going to save me some work, and I have a second line. Or, well, let me just do another one, paste. So I have 3 of those, and then maybe I'll make one more that has the potential to be vastly different. Escape to get out of the previous one. This time I'm not holding down shift, and you can see when you don't hold down shift, it's not a straight line. Now suddenly I'm holding down shift, and the lines are a lot straighter. The more points I put down, the more different places I can manipulate my line. Hit escape. So I have those 4 squiggly lines. Looks really random right now. And you can see that, let's see, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows essentially. So now I'm going to make some vertical things. I kind of like the shift key, so I'm going to hold shift. Just get a straight line. And hit escape, and that's been placed. Shift, some points. Escape, shift, put down some points. And I'm going to manipulate them later. Escape. I don't want like an epically long video, so I'm going to make just a couple more lines. One more, a bunch of dots. I'm going to have some huge pieces, but that's all right. Escape. And now I can go back, and when I go, you can sort of decide, okay, so I want to manipulate. I clicked on this line, and I'm going to start making the pieces more, and it looks like more curved. They're more interlocking pieces. Pull this one out a little bit. Put these 2 closer together for fun. Shift, put that one down. Escape. Escape. Connect these 2 gaps. Enter. Connect this gap to here. Enter. So I'm filling in all the gaps, and then enter. And then we'll just quickly look at how I have the makings of some puzzle pieces. I'm going to go back to the selection tool to clean up. So these are not very, so some pieces are interlocking and some are not. This piece here does not look very interlocking. What I might need to do, I'm going to go back to the curvature tool, And I'm going to learn a little bit more about, is there a way, so you can add points. I can go back and notice I'm adding some more points on the path. And then I have more options to make them a little bit more interlocking looking. And now that piece looks way more interlocking looking. And I'm going to hit escape. And then there you go. So now I have an interlocking piece here. I have an interlocking piece there. It looks kind of like a tooth. This corner piece doesn't look very interlocking, so I'm going to add one more, couple more pieces. And now I have a little spot where I can pull. And that's interlocking, kind of. Escape. So once you have the pieces sort of made, either in the barn or another day next week, you can control plus, I think, or I'll command plus, and zoom in, and we can sort of carefully look at what pieces we need to clean up. And minus gets me out. And now I have the start to one column, and I can go through and I can fix a couple more lines one at a time to make them look more puzzle looking. I'll just do one more for visual effects. I'm going to click on this path here. I'm going to go to some other line, and look, I can add another point, and I'm going to click it right in, and now it's starting to look more puzzly. And again, escape, get out of that line. And I clicked on some of the points, and it's a filled gap. And now I have a puzzle piece there. Click on a couple of spots. I want the interlocking here. I'm going to move in, straighten it out a little bit, and that's a puzzle piece. All of this is just being strictly done with the curvature tool. So I led you down a bad track when I started learning about pin tool. Again, click right on there, move things around, start fresh. You got to clean up this. So the curvy tool, for whatever reason, can't connect to the rectangle, but the pen can. So the pen tool. So that's the pen tool I'm always going to use to get my jigsaw line to the border. And the curve tool I'm going to use to make my pieces more interlocking with something else. So there you go.